I want to take you to Indianapolis, where the NRA's annual convention kicks off today. It'll go through the weekend. Virtually all Republicans, all the Republican 2024 hopefuls will be making an appearance either in person or on video. That, of course, includes former President Trump and his Vice President Mike Pence. So the two will actually be in the same room for the first time since the end of their administration. ABC News political reporter Brittany Shepard is joining us live now from this convention. So, Brittany, look, you've been talking with attendees all morning long. What are you hearing?
Well, they're excited, bullish even, to get into the candidate forums happening right behind me. I think you could be able to see hundreds of voters being pushed to file in. We expect around 3,000 people to pack that room to hear from those Republican hopefuls their pitch to NRA members, to hear why or why not they are best suited to keep their guns in their home. That's number one animating issue here. And as you might expect, we're kind of in Trump country. I don't know if you can make out the details, but there are Trump hats, Trump shirts. I saw a cleanup on aisle 45. T-shirt. These are people who are eager to make America great again, but not everyone is sold. I talked to a couple undecided voters, too, who are animated by morality and abortion. I think that opens the lane for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who's sending a video message here. He won't be here in person. We know you just spoke about that really restrictive abortion ban that he signed in the 11th hour, right around midnight, flying from New Hampshire down to Florida to make that happen. We also spoke to a lifelong NRA member, Republican, who's now supporting Nikki Haley. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
I am supporting Nikki Haley. If she gets the nomination, I will vote for her. I will vote for her in the primary.
Why do you like Nikki Haley?
I think she was the only person that Trump hired that actually stood up to him when it came to the United Nations. I thought she was a great force for our country in that body.
You heard it right there. Nikki Haley is strong. She's also not going to be here. She's going to be sending in a video message. And that same voter told me that if Donald Trump is on the ticket as a Republican, Republicans are sure to lose in the general, no matter what Democrat will compete against him.
Wow, that's really interesting. That is a really strong message there from a GOP voter, Brittany. Look, also, we know Pence is set to talk soon. You called it Trump country, but, you know, we've been talking about it. You're in the Hoosier state. This is Pence's home turf, yet he's not getting a ton of love.
Right, that's the question. It's his home state, but does he actually have home field advantage here? He's set to speak in just about 15 minutes to really kick off this leadership forum. And a lot of voters here kind of halfway in, halfway out. One voter told me he's too nice. One voter told me just nobody likes him, nobody cares about him. The polling kind of reflects that. Even though he hasn't officially launched a candidacy, he's polling around 2, 3, 4, 5, not the most animating numbers for the Pence people, but they're first to tell you that he is here to prove to these voters that he is the constitutional conservative. He'll be here in person on stage. That Second Amendment is so important to him, and he promises to voters that no matter what, whether he becomes a nominee, whether he runs for president, or whether he's just a presence in the Republican Party, that he has Second Amendment voters on the mind, and he has their backs. I also think it's important for us to note that former Vice President Pence will mention the slate of mass shootings that just happened a few weeks ago, both in Louisville and in Nashville.
Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit, Brittany. Of course, as you mentioned here, this is all being held in the wake of these two deadly mass shootings, Nashville, Louisville. The executive vice president of the NRA saying earlier this week that they think all the federal gun laws currently in place should be enforced, and they say that that would dramatically reduce crime in America. But that's an answer falling flat for some critics right now. But perhaps those that support this agree with that. What are you hearing from both sides?
Well, forceful condemnation from Democrats. Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut was on a DNC call yesterday, and he said that the NRA, quote, leaves our kids and families exposed to epidemic rates of gun violence. That is not a small statement. But I speak to NRA members, and they say this is a mental health thing. We've heard this conversation. We've had it for decades and decades and decades, that it's about enforcement and mental health, and that guns don't just shoot themselves. People shoot guns. Such a partisan issue, even though most of the country does support some kind of sensible gun reform, whatever that means. That's a person-to-person thing. A big question for me is, will these other half dozen Republicans say the same thing? Are they going to mention these mass shootings? It's also kind of interesting. Last year's NRA conference was in Houston, and just a couple days after that mass shooting in Uvalde. The timing is never serendipitous here for NRA members, but they say they're here and they're standing by their cause.
Right, and the timing doesn't get better when we continue to have these mass shootings. We have more of them than days in the year. Brittany, thank you so much for your reporting in Indianapolis. We appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.